Hi everyone, my name is Rodney Lopez. I'm a Future Operations Base. Future Operations Base is a nonprofit veterans and first responders organization. We are pretty much a workshop platform-based organization where we teach and train to somewhat of a level of to utilize tools and to be able to um, get our minds off of different things and focus on positive stuff. And some of the positive stuff in my life is building stuff and fixing things, and especially helping other people. So we like to get veterans and first responders and our members involved in the community where we learn stuff here, and then we go on to help our community. So I want to cover a little, somewhat of some basic stuff. So there's been some questions about what is a basic household kit. So I want to go over a household kit just for, even if you're fairly new to an apartment, you just flew the nest and now you have an apartment on your own, what kind of stuff you need in a household toolkit. And also if you're a single parent or an older person that just want to do things on your own, or like I have a daughter and she likes to fix stuff on her own too. So she's always asking me about different tools and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of ladies out there that also want to know what the basic stuffs are, basic tools to have in your kit. So that way you're not having to rely on a male counterpart or somebody to mansplain stuff to you. So we're gonna go over, first of all, the items that we have here are a basic kit. There are a few other upgrade options if you want to, but like I said, standard basic kit. First thing you want is a hammer. Standard hammer, nothing to it, something good. Make sure it's not broken or cracked. Make sure that before you use it, it's not coming apart. And after you use it, just make sure you clean your tools after you use them, okay? So a good hammer, that's one thing. I like to use a upgraded hammer. This is a roofing hammer. I use a hammer a lot in the workshop, so this is my preferred upgrade tool. This is a Cobalt hammer that I got at Lowe's. Really nice. I've had it for a few years. I always clean it off, and it's a bit rusty, but I try to apply WD-40 to that when possible. The next thing is a level. This is a pretty small level. They make some smaller ones. This one's metal. It's actually magnetized as well, so you could, well, there we go, magnetized. So the level, you want to take care of it, you don't want to drop it, and this is for hanging pictures. This is also for, just drawing a straight line if you're doing some work, cutting stuff as well. Let's see, the next thing is a measuring tape. So Klein tools, that's my go-to tools if I can find it for Klein. That's I really like their tools a lot. So they're more of an electrical tool company. My smaller one, I have a 16-footer, and I was recently using it, and I didn't follow the instructions when it said to stop pulling it out, so I broke it. So I'm with my 25-footer for now. But these are, you want one, get a good one. Don't get a cheapy one, because if you get a cheapy one and then when you go and try to extend it, it's always going to be breaking very soon, and very frustrating when you're trying to measure stuff for you. So this one right here has a magnetic tip, so once you stick it to something that's metal, it will hold and you can pull somewhat. And it does have a stopper here, so as you pull it out, pull it down, and it actually locks it in place, and then you pull it back up and it comes back in, it retracts. And you also have a belt clip. Some of these belt clips are pretty tough to get into, so try it on and make sure you're comfortable with the tool before you purchase it, so you're not wasting money. And take care of your tools as well, so that way you can make sure that you have a good tool every single time that you use it. Okay. So let's see what the next one is. We're going to go with the sets of screwdrivers. So you always want to have a flat tip and a cross tip screwdriver. I like to always have two different sizes. There's 3 different sizes, so you can use a flat tip, so you can have a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3 size flat tip screwdriver. So here's a smaller one, and here I believe is a number 2 flathead screwdriver. The number 3 is a pretty massive one. It's pretty much double the size. So these are just for the flat tip screwdrivers. And here are the cross tips, or some people call them the Phillips screwdrivers. These sets are from Cobalt. Cobalt makes a pretty good, solid product. And again, once you use them, make sure you clean them off, wipe them down, WD-40 them if you need to, or just always maintain good tool discipline. So, like I said, put those, very important. If you don't have the smaller ones, at least get the standard number 2 sizes. Those are good. So the flat tip screwdriver I like to open up paint cans with them. I also like to, if you got some stuff that won't come off the floor, I'll use that. So there's not very many screws that don't have a dual head on them where you could use both. A lot of light switches and plugs have a flat head screw, so you always have that. You always need that one right there. So the next one is going to be this guy right here. This is the multi bit driver, and I mean, it comes opened up like this, but when you have the different options, some of them are different. This one right here is a Cobalt. There's some different types. Pull this one out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's different bits. There's flat heads, there's some hex, and there are some Torx, which Torx is a different style of a bit. It's more like a star shape, something you would find like in a bathroom or something, where they utilize stuff that doesn't want to be that people don't want things to be vandalized or taken apart. So we have those options in there. These are always good to have too, because you have more options with these guys, especially during Christmas time when you're trying to put batteries into a toy and the toy has a weird cover to it with a screw, so you have more options with this guy. Okay, and a just standard razor box cutter. This is a Cobalt one. This one also has a thread or a cord ripper on it here on this edge, so you pretty much put a cord in there and it cuts it. Even tape and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so always take care of it and make sure you never leave this, never leave it out when you put it in your bag. Make sure you always close it up, okay? And if it breaks off, try not to use a dull one, because a dull one is it's just dangerous like that. Always keep a good one in there. So that's important. That's an important tool to have, especially when you're dealing with small little craft projects and stuff. And then that, along the lines of cutting, a good pair of scissors. Try not to leave your scissors too dirty and leave stuff on them, any kind of tape or something you've cut prior to. Maintain some good tools, but a pair of scissors are always good to have, just in case, string, tape, anything. The next thing is going to be a adjustable wrench, also known as a crescent wrench. This is an 8-inch adjustable wrench here. This thing right here, as you turn this part, it adjusts whether you want it smaller or a larger type of screw. Okay, so these are mainly for bolts. Okay, there are some other little tricks you can use with this as well, but an adjustable wrench. They make smaller ones, they make the larger ones. Just a regular 8-inch one is fine. If you have a smaller one, it's no big deal. The next one is going to be a set of basic pliers. This one has 2 settings. As you pull it apart, there is a little bit of an opening right there where you can pull it back and forth. This opens it, allows you to grab something a little bit bigger, and then you close it, and it kind of shortens it up, makes you grab something smaller. So set of pliers, okay, basic pliers. Again, if you have stuff on them at the end of your job, clean them off. Just maintain good tool discipline, and cleaning up your stuff helps for a good tool when it comes out of the bag for the next project. This one right here is a pair of wire cutters. So I have a bad habit of calling these another name, but there's a good use for these zip ties. Whenever you get toys or you get something unpacked from shipping companies, sometimes these things right here are needed instead of unbraiding or zip tie stuff. This is a good way to cut that off. And if you do have some wires and stuff, small wires, so you got to be careful on the gauge of what you're cutting. Try not to break them. If you break them, you might as well throw them away. It's not good to have broken tools in your toolkit. So they do make bigger sizes. So if you feel like you are doing more projects around the house that require larger ones, go ahead and purchase some larger ones, and always get a decent brand at least. I mean, that way they don't break on you. So get just the best thing you can afford at that's what you want to do. I mean, there isn't anything that you have to spend so much money on where you just go broke, right? You want to stay within your means of a good tool. Just make sure that you're not going extremely cheap either. So even if it's a one-time use, if you're going to use it one time, you're probably going to use it again. The next thing is this is a Cobalt Allen set key. A set. So this one right here is a standard. There's a difference between standard and metric. So standard is what we use here, which has all the sizes are in fractions, right? So you have the 1/16, the 5/64, and so on, right? So these right here, this set, you turn these this way, and then you slide the one you want out, and then you put it back together, and always make sure that you close these back up. These have a rounded edge to one part of it here, and these right here allow you to get into a pretty tight spot and have an angle and still be able to turn and twist. So they have a balled end to them, which is a very good thing to have when you're dealing with some of the stuff. If you want to troubleshoot your dishwasher or your washer or your dryer, it's just this helps a lot. So this is a standard. They also sell them in a metric. So the metric, that's pretty much everybody else besides us in the United States. There's some debates on which one's better, so no big deal. But the sizes are a little bit easier, right? So for you have a number 5, a 4, a 3, and so it's pretty much whole numbers and not your fraction numbers to what we're used to here in the United States. I always have both because I work on a lot of different stuff. It's just up to you. The basic one, I would just get the standard size and avoid the metric. If you don't need them, I mean, don't buy them, right? You're not trying to break the bank here. Okay, so Allen key set. The next thing is a drill. So this is a Black & Decker drill. It's a rechargeable, comes with the plug-in cord. This does not have a detachable battery. There are some that do come with a detachable battery where you can recharge the battery and buy more batteries and so on and so forth. This one actually you plug in. It's a cheaper model. You can get this one at Walmart or Target. So as you pull the trigger, it turns. It has a notch here, a button where you push it here. This way will tighten. It is clockwise, and then you push it going the other direction, and it will go counterclockwise. So counterclockwise removes, and clockwise puts it in, right? Okay. If you want to remove this, then you have to click on the button that goes counterclockwise, and you hold the collar and you pull the trigger just a little bit, and then it loosens it up enough for the bit to come out, and you can change it, right? And to apply it, you grab the bit, you put it in there gently. Don't pull your fingers inside of there, just hold it like that, and you want it, usually there's a line that tells you how far to put that in there. So this one's a yellow line. Some of them just have a little bit of a mark on it, like a little dark cut. So you just put that in there like that. You flip your switch back to tighten, hold the collar a bit. You can do it that way, or what you can do is put it in there, hold it up, and then just turn the collar itself until it tightens. Once you feel a little tight, then you can just pull it like that, and that usually is tight enough, okay? So I like to always hold the trigger and just try to make sure it's in there sound so it doesn't roll and destroy your screw that you're putting in there. So there's the upgrade one from this is I have a DeWalt, and it has all kind of different attachment to it, but same principle. I'm going to take this out, it comes out, and then I want to put it back in there. I just flip that switch on, and now it goes in. This one you can hear it click when it's actually tight, and that way you know it's secure, it's firm, right? Okay, that tells me that it is locked in there. It's not going to slip out or roll out of there, okay? And then I have this quick connect bit here, this fitting, where as soon as you pull the collar back, this comes out. And then when I want to go back in there, it comes out, it doesn't come out of there again, okay? There's just some extra little stuff, some upgrades, right? I also have my flat bit right here that I normally use for an alternative. I have a tool belt hook that goes on here, so I can just hook it on there and be hands-free. So like I said, an upgrade, and then this is a basic one, right? The thing you'll get with this one that you won't get with this one is a variance of torque and to be able to, whether you're just drilling or whether you're tightening things into a certain torque. This guy right here has numbers on it, and it also has a drill setting. It actually has a picture of a drill. That means that it won't back down. It will continue to turn. But if I turn this to where it's a number 1 or number 2 torque setting, then it will stop. That clicking says, hey, I've met my setting that you've put on there for that torque setting. And then number 3, it's all about how much you can start hearing it now. And the further I go up to 15, I'm not going to put my hand on it because it's going to, but anyways, that's how that works, okay? Upgrade version. So, put that in the bag. The next thing is a headlamp. I always like to have a good headlamp because when you're working in some tight spots, you know, it's good to have them working on the doorbell or working on the back of the refrigerator or something, or trying to find something in a dark, tight spot. This is pretty good to have. So normally just put the hat backwards there, put it on, and then turn the light on, and it allows you to see in some dark spots. These are pretty cheap as well, so just get one that you're comfortable with. And make sure you put the batteries in and make sure your batteries are always maintained as well, so that way it works. Let's see, the next thing is going to be eye protection. Always make sure you wear eye protection when you're working on stuff, and also make sure you're wearing gloves. So proper personal protective equipment, it's essential, right? Because you don't want anything getting in your eye. You don't want to get a finger, something caught in your finger or cut, and then that way you'll be able to enjoy life without missing anything or any infections or damaged eyeballs. Okay, a pencil and a Sharpie. Always have these in your toolkit as well. That's pretty obvious, right? If you're hanging up a picture or something, you want to be able to mark it. If you're cutting something and it's hard to see, and wherever you're at, just marking it with a Sharpie is a good idea as well. So I always like to have a pencil and put a bunch of tape on one end, so that way I can put it in my hat and it doesn't slip off and fall, and I have it access there, and also have it in my vest where I can put my Sharpie there as well. So always make sure you have these two things are pretty important in your kit. Then some glue. So this is Gorilla Super Glue. You can get super glue or just regular Gorilla Glue. It doesn't matter. Any kind of adhesive. Just this stuff will go out after like 2 or 3 years. Just in general, it's just the way it works, right? Doesn't matter if you store them correctly. From what I found, I can store them in my house and they'll still go bad after a few years. But a very good product to have in your toolkit for all kind of different stuff. I always like the clear one, so it doesn't matter if I'm working on glass or a kid's toy or whatever it is I'm fixing. This pretty much works on a lot of stuff. And then the next thing, or the last thing, will be tape. I like using electrical tape, painter's tape. This stuff, painter's tape, doesn't leave adhesive and sticky residue when you're working on windows or projects and crafts and stuff like that. So this is some pretty good stuff to have. And the electrical tape, that it's pretty durable and pretty sturdy. I like to wrap Christmas gifts and this stuff. So yeah. And that pretty much is all that's in this kit here. Okay, it's a basic kit. Now you don't need to have a bag. You can also use a bucket. You could use this bucket. This is a bucket skirt, a tool skirt you can buy at the hardware store. These are pretty cool to have. You can put all your stuff in here. You can put things that you're working on in your bucket. If not, just a box. It doesn't matter. Just any kind of box. But just a toolkit, standard toolkit. That's all that you need. And later on, I'll put some more videos on just to make sure, or just to kind of cover some advanced stuff. But for a lot of ladies that I have been talking to in the veteran community and first responder community, these were some of the questions that they were having. That, hey, what do I need for a standard toolkit? And those are items that I believe that are pretty standard and that you would need. If there are a few missing things, where you can pick that up as you go along and grow your toolkit and become more advanced in home repair and modification. So once again, I'm Rodney Lopez. I'm with Future Operations Base. We are a veteran and nonprofit organization, and let us know what you guys think. Please follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We have all the social media accounts. Please give us some feedback. Register as a member. We're always looking for new members. And if you guys know of anybody who needs home modification that are that are veterans or a first responder or a family member that needs it, please let us know and let us help serve our community. Thank you very much.